Hey guys, what's going on? It's Ali here, and I decided today to put out a tutorial for you. I know a lot of people who use Photoshop and use photo manipulation as their kind of primary source of graphics don't really know so much about Cinema 4D and modeling, and there's one or two people in the community who have um, got quite far using modeling, and it's a really good asset to have, but many people don't know how to start with it. And so I decided that I would show you how I started. I'm going to be showing you the very basics of kind of the interesting modeling, like those kind of cool matrix extrudes that you see where bits fly off everywhere, and it's as opposed to kind of realistic modeling. This is kind of like, I suppose, futuristic, interesting modeling. And I've actually kind of incorporated it into my college project at the moment. So here's a picture of what I'm doing at college at the moment. This is actually an interior that I designed. It's my interpretation of what a hotel lobby would look like if it was on the moon. And it's designed for Richard Branson, as he quoted last year or the year before that he's going to put a hotel on the moon at some point. So I've made this into an advertising campaign for Virgin Media for my college project, which is quite interesting, I think, and it's using the modelling techniques. And you may remember this. This was the Iron Man arc reactor chess piece that I made. This again is all just basic modelling, just using basic extrude and matrix extrude to produce it, and then this was obviously the final image, and it came out really nicely. And then I kind of moved on to designing other things, such as this one, which is another kind of different type of arc reactor chess piece thing, kind of like from Iron Man again. It's based around that, and then this is the bird's eye view. I'm incorporating these into my college project as well, because they're just really interesting and they look cool, and they relate to space kind of in some way, the shapes. Here's another one I made, and then I go on to then put it into a hand as part of the advertising campaign I'm doing at college at the moment. You may have seen a similar idea in one of the speed arts I did, and I kind of thought I'd like to continue that into my college project. But enough about my college and all that. This is about the modelling tutorial. So I'm just going to be showing you the very basics of how to kind of make shapes similar to these. So hopefully you can use them in speed arts and things. I've been modelling for literally 18 hours max from start to the things I'm producing now. So you should be able to have a rough idea of how to do that by the end of this tutorial. So let's get into it. So this is obviously the screen you're going to have when you open up Cinema 4D. This tutorial is for absolute beginners, so I want you guys to learn the basics first to kind of lay the foundations for your modelling. And I know that there's some experienced people out there. You also need to know the basics, otherwise you're screwed. So make sure you follow this closely. I'm going to make this as quick as possible. So what I tend to do, or to model any shape, what you need to do is come to this blue cube here, and then you select any shape. I like to start with torus rings as I find them easiest to manipulate. Then you're going to see around the shape there are all these white kind of rectangular blocks or segments, and these can be changed down here. You can add segments down in the bottom right, like so. And the more segments you have, the longer the render time, but the smoother the shape's going to look. So you can manipulate the shape here to add radius, and for other shapes you can extrude them and make them longer and stuff. But just with this, you can change radius and segments. So once you've done this, this is where people get stuck usually. They've got the shape and they don't know how. They see people on YouTube doing all these cool things with their shape and they just don't know how to do it. Well, what you're going to want to do is come over to the left, where this kind of button is with the orange sphere and then the kind of white sphere with orange selected on it with the two arrows. You click that, then you scroll down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 buttons, and you click the one with the orange cube on the top left. Now you're going to be able to select individual segments on your shape, and then this is where the fun happens. This is where it all kicks off. You can then select segments individually, and if you hold shift you can select more than one. And what I tend to do with these kind of shapes is to select one segment, then miss one out, then another, then miss one out, then blah blah blah, etc. So that you can then play with the extrusion tools There's a matrix extrude, which basically means that where I've selected these segments, parts will move outwards from where I've selected in a kind of curved shape. Once you've kind of got your segments selected, all you do, you just right click on the shape, and then you get all of these cool actions or tools. And so here is basically what you want. This is matrix extrude and extrude. These are basically the two things that you can use to make your models look cool, like the ones I showed you earlier. So matrix extrude, what you're going to do is just click, and then you click and drag on one of your segments, and then because you selected all of these other orange segments, they're all going to be affected by where you click. So you click and drag, and then you can move out these kind of like curved, they almost make it look like a kind of upside down jellyfish. And you can see that already that's starting to look cool. And then what you can do to get it completely fine tuned, come to the bottom right and you can add steps, which are these kind of, they add extra segments to the length of these legs. So if you add another step, you can see they get longer and longer and longer and longer and longer. And if you hold it, then they start curling round. Then what you can do, oh no, leave that ticked. Leave polygon coordinates ticked at all times, otherwise that will happen. So you can have about 14, 13 steps. Then you can click on move and you can mess around with the move tool. If you move it, they move inwards. If you scroll upwards, and if you select move and you kind of put it into the minus, it curls outwards. And then if you go to scale, up the scale, and then they get thicker and thinner. And rotation, if you up the degrees, they curl outwards much quicker. And if you do the second one, they curl sideways, and then obviously the third rotate tool, they curl the other way. And then you can see that they look already. I'm getting these kind of like cool, like spiraling shapes that, like, already are making the object look really interesting. And then also you can make these into an animation, and you can have these kind of moving around and getting all crazy. And so that's the kind of way I start making these shapes. That kind of is pretty much it. I mean, you can then what you want to do, if you want to select more segments, you just click on another segment, like here, just click, then hold shift, and then you can just click a few more. And maybe this time you just want to, rather than using matrix extrude, we'll just do this side for time's sake. You can right click and you can just hit extrude. Then you just click and drag on one of the segments you've selected, and then you can just like move it up or down, and then these parts will move up or down. And then, I mean, it's that simple. You can add like all kinds of extrusions and stuff onto your shapes. You can then also, with these segments selected, you can then make a material. So we'll just make new material. Double click on where it says matte, and then just come to color, and I'm just going to have a nice bright red. It doesn't really matter about the settings because I'm not going to be rendering in this tutorial. But then you can add your material onto just the selected segments. So you can select segments down here, just anyone's, blah, 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 and then you can just drag your material onto those segments, and then those segments will stay selected. So like my chest piece that I made for Iron Man, you can see there are kind of like blue blocks around the blue sphere in the middle. That's the same thing. I just selected segments and then added the color to it. So then you can kind of pinpoint exactly which parts you want, which colors and stuff. Then also you can just oh no, here's another important thing. Once you've kind of messed around with your shape as much as you want, once you've kind of thought, actually, yeah, I think I've extruded enough and I've got the right colors on different segments and things, for you to be able to then change the size of the shape, you come to this button here with the triangle and then the upward and right arrow. You click there, then this makes the shape kind of whole again, and it makes it manageable and malleable. So you can then use these tools, the movement, and you can rescale it, and it will all stay as one shape. But if you do this whilst you're still on the previous setting without having pressed this button here, whatever segments you had selected, if you change the scale, those will mess up. Those will, whatever tool you were using, if it was an extrude tool, for example, if you rescale without pressing this button here, those extrusions will continue as you're resizing it. So it will just all mess up and it will look horrible, and you'll want to shoot yourself because you will have spent lots of work on it, and then you'll think, oh crap, what's going on? But if you want to go back to the selection of segments from this point, you then just come back to here, you just click the same button that you clicked earlier. Also, if you want to select points as opposed to segments, you click this tool here. So you click here, and then what that allows you to do, oh sorry, not points, it allows you to select the lines around the segments. So you can select there, and then you hold shift, select that one, and then you can use the exact same tools that you've used before, extrusions and things. This is the point button, excuse me. You click on this button here, and then it allows you to select the points in between the segments. Exact same thing, hold shift, hold shift, hold shift, and then you right click, and then you can pick whatever you want. There's lots of tools here that I haven't yet explored, but I'm sure they're very easy to do. I will be exploring them in a future tutorial, but for now this is just kind of the basics, just so you can have a practice with this, just kind of mess around with the shapes, and just kind of get excited to start modelling. It's so simple. I mean, to get to where I am now, I think I mentioned earlier, it's taken me not even a day, and a lot of ways to make modelling more interesting is to, once you finish your model, you obviously add lights with shadow, and then you put it into Photoshop, and you can do whatever you want with it. Because I know a lot more people are more comfortable with photo manipulation as opposed to modelling. So you can manipulate your model exactly how you want it. You can change the colour and colour corrections and stuff and make it all look very nice. Before I go, there's just one more thing I want to show you. Come to this tool here. Not that tool, sorry, excuse me. Come to this tool here, the segment selection. Press that. If you want to delete exact parts of your shape, you can just select a segment, hold shift, select a few more if you want to delete them, then just simply press delete on your keyboard and you've deleted. And then you'll be able to then see the interior of your shape. And it's that easy. Like, you can do that when you're making a room. You can have 6 sides of a rectangle, which just makes up a cube. Then you can delete some of the segments, and they can be windows. And I've seen 10-minute tutorials on how to make windows in Cinema 4D when you can just delete segments. It's like it's like simplicity is the way forward. I hope that you've kind of learned a little bit about modelling from this tutorial. I kind of want to make sure that we go through the basics first before we then move into much more advanced tutorials. I know that I'm almost at the same standard as beginners. I've barely been doing this at all, but I thought that I'd share what I've learned with you. I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial. I hope you've learnt something, and that I'll kind of inspire you to model a bit more in your photo manipulations. Please like, favourite and comments. You can follow this video and then future tutorials and speed arts and things. My Twitter's in the description, where you can follow me and catch up on what I've been up to and the random shiz that I tweet. And I will see you in my next video. Thanks a lot. Bye.